A film I watched this weekend was Rebel Ridge, the new film from American director Jeremy Saulnier. It follows his previous films that I really enjoyed, Blue Ruin and Green Room, and it follows in a similar style of being about dark deeds somewhere in rural America. In this case, it starts off seemingly as a rehash of First Blood, the original Rambo story. It's about an ex US Marines instructor, travels to a small town by bike, but just before he arrives, is knocked off his bike and harassed by two police officers who take the money that he has with him for the bail to spring his cousin from prison on a seemingly trumped up cannabis possession charge. He tries to get the money back or simply cut a deal with the local police that they can keep most of it as part of their civil forfeiture practices by which they seem to be funding a lot of their own business in the police force. And but this goes wrong, and ultimately the officer, who incidentally is black with the white police, so there's a tension there. He teams up with a young ex-junkie trainee lawyer to investigate what's going on in the town and find that they are totally dependent on this civil forfeiture and the monstrous corruption which will tear the whole town apart. I thought this was a brilliant film. I really liked Blue Ruin and Green Room. Both are really exceptional pieces of work. I haven't seen the third film, Hold the Dark. I'm very much looking forward to doing so now. But this is a very, very strong film. It's an extremely dense film. I was surprised by how long it felt. It's a little over 2 hours long. It feels much longer because there is so much story. There is so much in the way of ideas. There is so much character work. We find out so much about the various characters' backgrounds, and everything becomes very important and character-based. There is so much shading to all of the personalities, and there are excellent performances. Aaron Pierre in the lead role I thought was very good. AnnaSophia Robb, who my understanding is largely known for child-friendly work or her work as a child actor, I thought was excellent as the young lawyer. Don Johnson as the police chief is extremely believable. And even James Cromwell has a small appearance as a sympathetic judge who's part of the whole conspiracy, but has been trying to mitigate it in his own way. It's a very thoughtful and intelligent film that has absolutely no concern about portraying an entire police force, an entire structure of power in a town as being entirely corrupt, that it's entirely based around extracting money illegally from the vulnerable in return for funding itself, and just exists as a means of perpetuating its own power. It's a very tough and dicey idea to have in a movie at the moment with the political powder keg in the US, and it's therefore not terribly surprising that this has had so little publicity. I mean, Netflix, as usual, just dumps it on its service with no publicity at all. I haven't spoken to anyone who's seen it. Apparently, it's had very strong reviews, and those who have seen it have been very, very positive towards it. But it's just the usual Netflix churn. They release 6 or 7 films every week. One a month maybe gets a publicity push, and the rest just moulder. This is something really special. It's a really strong, well-made thriller about ideas, about characters. It's very contemporary. It's very engaging. It's totally absorbing. It's brilliantly made. There are much more scaled-down action scenes than I was expecting, but they're superbly executed, totally believable. It's an excellent film, one of the best I've seen this year. Aaron Pierre is clearly set up on this for a major career. AnnaSophia Robb, I thought, was great in the character role, and the two make a very fine team, mismatched though they are. This was really very, very fine, and I'd recommend it very highly indeed.